Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio departed India on Tuesday after a 4-day visit where Quad partners, the U.S., India, Japan, and Australia, moved to reinforce cooperation on energy security, critical minerals, and Indo-Pacific stability amid lingering trade tensions and strategic uncertainty. Now, the trip unfolded against the backdrop of renewed focus on China, global supply chain resilience, and questions over the durability of U.S.-India trust. Now, Rubio's engagement with India, alongside a stopover in Armenia, shows Washington's continued interest in the region. We'll discuss it now further with Piotr Kłodkowski, Professor, Institute of Comparative Studies of Civilizations, Jagiellonian University. Good to have you with us. Professor, okay, we're talking about this recent trip, Marco Rubio, that chief of U.S. diplomacy, wrapping up 4 days in India, and that is with the Quad, and you can see there Marco Rubio. There will be also a stopover today in Armenia on his way back to Washington, but of course this was critical for the United States, meeting in this Quad format on foreign ministers, including the U.S., India, Japan, Australia. But at the same time, we've also picked up that China came out with a statement on Tuesday that they did not want this directed against any third party, that being themselves. Now, the Quad, just for our audience sake, that came together some years ago exactly precisely to do that, to counter China in the Indo-Pacific. And that's what we'll be talking about here. And we've been covering that, of course. And one of the main things that's come out of this is Marco Rubio, as he departed, there was a framework on collaboration on rare earths that was signed. And that, of course, has been very, very big and key for supply chains around the world. And the big question is if that will be enough, for the United States and the West, potentially. I mean, we've been looking at the resilience of these supply chains. China's still one of those main players, and we're going to talk about that a bit further. Professor Kłodkowski, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you right now.
Wonderful. So just giving a little lead in here, tell us how significant Marco Rubio's trip was. Was this a success?
Well, I believe it was a success. Of course, we should assess his visit and the implications of his visit in the days and months to come. But Marco Rubio, visited India and, held very important talks with both Prime Minister Modi and Foreign Minister of India, because I believe the relations between India and the United States, they have been deteriorating, for some time, and both sides were really afraid of how they should work together, in the future. Given just the threat posed by China and China's expansionist policies in the Indo-Pacific, and also the worries expressed by Washington over very close relations between India and Russia. So given all these complex problems, definitely Marco Rubio had a very, very delicate agenda to discuss with his partners in New Delhi and other cities as well.
Mm-hmm. And also we had mentioned already this Quad format of these various countries, foreign ministers coming together in India. We haven't had a leaders level for quite some time, but given what we've seen these last 24 hours, his trip with the Quad, is that, in your mind, is that relevant now? Do we have substance enough? Is this back, let's say, on the strategic horizon, or is this still a moot point?
Well, I don't think that there was much substance in that. We shall see how President Trump would react to the final talks and whether he would feel very much interested in engaging in the whole process of making Quad a real instrument for pursuing his own policies in the Pacific. Yes, Quad was considered by China as some sort of an Asian NATO, which is not correct. I believe that it is a grouping that may play a very important role And the cooperation, especially between India and the United States, is very much crucial. Well, India does not expect America to defend, well, the country in case of any potential Chinese invasion on land. But of course, the Indo-Pacific is another problem. And I suppose Japan, Australia, the United States, and India, they are really interested in somehow, blocking the expansion of China in some areas which are very close to the Indian subcontinent. And also, India, has been affected by the tariffs imposed by the American government. So definitely that's another important issue that should be discussed in the context of the cooperation within the Quad.
Mm-hmm. And also, I want to get your sense, we've had this framework on rare earths that was apparently moved forward and agreed by India and Quad in the U.S. So does this now, let's say, fix the supply chain problem with rare earths for the United States, or is this just the beginning? Like, what do you make of that framework?
I believe it is just the beginning, and we need just more rounds of very serious discussions. I believe that India is also quite interested in safeguarding the imports of energy from the United States. Well, that's another very, very crucial point made by the Indian politicians and Indian experts. Yes, the United States also is planning to expand the area of cooperation. And definitely, I believe that the defense sector will play a crucial role in building the bilateral relations. So, as I said, well, the agenda is quite complex, but that's only the starting point. Because, as I said, well, the bilateral relations were not in a very good condition during the 2025, and it's time to repair, to mend everything what, in fact, has been in a poor condition, for some time. And I believe that Marco Rubio, he has taken a good step to bring, I believe, trust in bilateral relations, because New Delhi, I don't think nowadays is ready to trust Washington as it did, 2 or 3 years ago. But I believe, as India is the only natural partner or even an ally for the United States, both sides are very keen on repairing, the very weak relations. And I believe that they will be able just to bring more fresh air into their contacts.
Mm-hmm. And it's also interesting, if you look at what happened in the last few weeks, and we've had President Trump in Beijing, and also an important meeting there. Now we've had Rubio in India. So, I mean, that's not a coincidence, I take it, but they also have very different relationships. So I'm just curious how this is balanced and where the United States wants to be. I mean, is it on the one hand Quad against China, or is it closer to China?
Yes, and it is a big mystery for Indian politicians, how to assess, well, the visit paid by President Trump in Beijing. And I believe that the visit and bilateral talks between Xi Jinping and President Trump were really good. So how should it be assessed by India? Is it just a sign that the United States is going to have much better relations with China, or maybe just India might be sidelined for the months to come? So that's a big question. And definitely India wants to be sure that Washington will consider India as a crucial partner or even an ally in the Quad, which is, yes, Quad is definitely the grouping which is against Chinese domination in the Indo-Pacific. So how to combine, how to just understand all these implications of the China's visit by President Trump. So that's a big question, and I don't think we are just really able just to give the correct answer. because India is, as I said, or seems to be the only natural partner, while China definitely is maybe not an enemy, but it is a very serious competitor. And both the United States and India, they share the same concerns.
And just a really last quick sentence. I mean, the stopover by Rubio in Armenia, that's going to be today on Tuesday. What do you make of that? Just a quick sentence.
Well, so definitely the United States is going to expand its network of alliances and partnerships. And definitely Armenia will play a very crucial role in that, given that Armenia was part of the Soviet Union, but its geographical location, well, makes it a very, very important country with whom the United States should cooperate more successfully in the future.
Yeah, and also the Europeans just as well. There was that big summit there not that long ago, so very much important indeed. Look, we'll close today. Thanks so much for all of that. It was our guest here today, Professor Piotr Kłodkowski. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for our news and commentary. Goodbye.